Hello everyone, and welcome to The Grove. My name is Samurai Rev, and today is another episode of Mob Mixer. In this series, I take two mobs from Minecraft and I mix them together into one humanoid character design. In today's episode, we will be starting with Strax, who literally got his name by the fact that the way I wrote Stray on his character's sketch sheet, it looks like Strax. That is literally where I got his name from. And he is a stray mixed with a pillager. And naturally, I decided, hey, let's use him as holding a crossbow, because strays are good with bows. It would work with the pillager, usually holding a bow, crossbow, so figured it'd work. I wanted to somehow mix the two head styles and decided, hey, what if I decided to put a mask? So that's why he's wearing a mask. And honestly, I really like that because the fact he doesn't have pupils sort of makes him look even more stern. He's supposed to be sort of like a mercenary or a guard from the mansion that he grew up in. Maybe not grew up, but got employed by at least later in life, sometime in life. I still haven't figured it out. Maybe in the teenage years, so it's still built part of his worldview, but then he also chose to be there. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't gotten depth in that backstory element. Where he would be in sort of this story world is that he'd be one of two main people trying to track down Esme. Esme is the witch from the last episode, a witch and her son. And I was trying to think of why would Esme be without llamas? Could be just because she didn't tame llamas, but what would her character arc be? And maybe she's just used to running because these two are after her, because Esme's mom was a witch. Witches tend to be allied with pillagers, so maybe Esme was supposed to go and meet up with the mansion group and decided, no, that's not going to be for me. So they sent these mercenaries, or at least guards. Not sure which one they would be. Either way, they are sent out by the group and are tracking Esme down. And so this is one of them. This is the main sniper / scout person. And so that's what Stray's role is. So that's sort of where the character concept is. In terms of personality, I'm not entirely sure what his personality would be. Definitely stern, but I don't know if it would be just for this picture he's stern, and he's a little more lighthearted. I do expect him and his partner to go into more banter, but I do like the idea of where he's the stern one and the other one is sort of more outgoing. And I'll get to why I'm thinking that when I get into the second half of the video where it shows off his partner. So, yeah, I decided to have this underarm. It was hard to draw, and then I had to figure out how to fit in the other one. And so, but it'd work. And I decided to go with the top chest plate and with the little skirt area, simply because I was trying to figure out how to sort of mix the two outfits. Because what's interesting for the ones that I'm starting to do is that I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I mix these two? Like with the witch and the merchant, you have the two different robes and clothing styles, and then this, you also have two different clothing styles. And then I was looking at Stray's sort of coloration, and it reminded me of, oh, this looks like something that could be in an armor piece. Like it's some sort of metal. So I decided to use that, and then just decided to do metal and then have the pillager be sort of like the underneath. I didn't realize that the pillager actually has some sort of plaid. Apparently they're wearing plaid. I did not realize this until the color stage. It's very subtle, but it is there. So I just decided on a smooth undershirt, just so that it would be easier for me to draw, because like I knew with Ozzy, flannel can be hard to draw. So just to simplify him, since he's already wearing armor, I decided, okay, it's just going to be flat colors. Fortunately, the bottom part was pretty easy, because it's just, oh, you just do legs underneath, even though I still had to basically redo the legs again. This time it wasn't the feet. It was the legs. And so I'm right here, I'm trying to manually figure out the legs, because the thing is, I did get the proportions right. It's just that the legs didn't look like it actually held up the body, and so I had to figure out what was going on, and I did have to redo one of the feet, but it was the thing. So I had to redo one of the feet, one of the shoes, but it wasn't by much. It wasn't like I was trying to redraw the whole foot. It was just editing it, and honestly, it did look a lot better. So, yeah. That's sort of the pillager, and there's not much to say. Like, I was trying to figure out, okay, there was some doing like the flipping technique, and I realized that I forgot one of the armbands to like hold up one of the shoulder pads. So, and then with this coloring, I just try to take the light values and place them where they needed to go. So I have the darker nose, which actually, I don't know whether that would be paint or it would just be the darker nose like it's normally is in Minecraft. I'm not sure yet. I wonder if the mask could be like night vision, if that would grant night vision. I don't know. But I really like the idea that I added the mask, because I ended up using it for the next character design as well. And there's me adding in the arrow. I did realize that I forgot to do one of the definitions of underneath the arrow in the original sketch, but in hindsight, I don't know if I actually forgot. It's just because of the way I sketch that it just didn't exist. And then I was trying to figure out like a backing, and so I found a decent coloring on the stray. So that's Strax, the Stray X pillager. So moving on to the next one, you have a person who I'm calling Zarya, and her name is referring to a water priestess, which was like a protector of warriors, and I felt like that would work for the fact that she has connections to evokers, which I imagine are like sort of the priests of the woodland mansions. And so she would be one of the people underneath one of those priests. And she would be sort of the head one who's sort of going out and being the more lighthearted out of the two, because she's just used to being that way. Because I realized that as part of her posing, she's a little more, hello, this is me, and she's smiling, and I just thought that would be a good way. She is a Vex and a Drowned hybrid, and Vexes can be summoned by evokers, which is why I say that she would have connections to evokers. So, I also wanted to have a name somehow connect to water because of the drowned aspect, and that's why she has this mask. It's supposed to be sort of her water breathing mask, because drowned, they have sort of it looks sort of like a frown if you look at the actual texturing, but I decided to turn it into a mask so I could still have her be like smiling and sort of cocky, and that way I could have sort of the upper half be the more of the mask that would look like the Vex, but then have the underside be the actual mask. Also, the trident was hard to draw, not with the sketching progress, but the liner was hard to do. This is actually the first half of me trying to do it. I just decided, okay, this is taking way too long, so I decided just to move on in a bit and just work on the rest of the picture, because I thought, okay, I'll get better ideas when I actually have it in place. So, the trident, it was hard to draw, but I wanted to draw a trident, not just a simple sword, because I thought a simple sword would be more boring, and the trident could sort of go more into that drowned aspect of her lineage. I'm not entirely sure how that would work either, and it does look like when it gets to the coloring, it does look like she's more of a drowned that sort of got either employed by the mansion or ended up growing up at the mansion. So maybe she could be in an experiment with zombies and ended up just becoming underneath one of the evokers? I don't know. I haven't figured that out part yet. Some of these things I just think ahead, and some of these I don't. And I was trying at different perspective angles. As you can see, working with the trident took a really long time. Like, the amount of time I worked on the trident and the amount of time I worked on everything else are about 50%. The trident took so long. Not the wings. The wings actually took a little bit longer because I was with the sketching time, because they're just a skeleton. How in the world am I supposed to do that? And so I had to figure out how that was going to go. I'm not sure what was going to go on there. Because it's not like phantom wings or bat wings, which they're leather, which I actually have experimented with. They're not like feathery wings, which is somewhat I can do. No, they're just skeleton wings. Vexes exist by magic. They're like magical spirits. And so you just have these bony wings. I could have done leather. I did think about doing leather wings, but I decided not to. So you have these weird... I don't even know if they're bone at this point. They just sort of exist. And obviously you can see me now trying to figure out the perspective for the trident. And it looks good in the end. I don't know exactly what... I don't draw tridents often, and I definitely have to say, drawing the trident and trying to do that in GIMP was definitely the challenge for this particular character. And oh boy, it was just really, really bad. But I did it! I succeeded. So, yeah, so Zarya, she is very much more of the person who's... I feel like she would be the one to dress up as the noblewoman with just Strax acting as the bodyguard, because you're not going to put Strax in a tux no matter how hard you try. Or if he does, it's maybe just to Zarya or whoever he ends up being interested in. I think it would be cute to have like this romantic subplot between them. Only if it actually worked in the writing, though, because they could equally just be great wing people. I could totally see Zarya just being, like, pushing Strax to kill him fast, or be, like, in cute moments, so... For the actual... for the flipping method, I did see that the mask was a little so I just tried to clean it up a bit, try to make it look more effective, and I think I got something I was feeling okay with, and so finally got to move on to the coloring. And for the sash, I realized I didn't explain it. The sash was actually supposed to look like something that was on the Strax. Not the Strax. The Vex. They're in some of the concept pictures that I was referencing. I actually saw this like dark piece of texturing, and it would like light up red, and so I wanted to include that somehow. And so it ended up as sort of like this sash, which ended up being good to add more of the blue in the ensemble. And it was also supposed to connect the belt, so you could define where the leather pants sort of separated from the leather shirt. But now it just looks like she's wearing this leather one piece, which I'm totally fine with. But it's there now, and honestly, I think it looks cool. Maybe she can put like potions on that. And she also has like this little pouch where she can hold her supplies. I had to figure out like a coloring for this background. I think I ended up doing a custom background where I just sort of darker one of the actual drowned coloring. And then for fitting in the rest of it, I had to move the text. So that's Zarya. And then you have Strax, her buddy. And then you have the notification bell. Please click it after you hit subscribe so I can make more of these videos, and there will be a gaming link in the description if you want to see my gaming channel. But that's it for the day, so hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!